Let's fight. A very good evening to each and every one of you. The guy is just behind the scenes saying, let us see how long they're going to wait. Like if they're waiting for light to come back. This is Guyana Zone waiting for power to come back. Let's see how long they're going to wait, people. Good to see each and every one of you joining us. Guys, we were just being a little facetious there. Good to see so many of you joining us. Wherever you guys are joining us from. Keisha Millington, y'all don't sleep. Huh? Don Raymond, y'all are front row, man. Front row. Fill the front rows, folks. Fill the front rows. Aliyah Waldron and Kim Walker, Kim King. How many Kims you got, man? Who the hell is Kim? Kim Walker, Kim King. Good to see each and every one of you. I see Royston Walters and Desiree Smart, Felix, Diane Fordyce, Gavin Holder, Lyndon Cadogan, all the usual suspects. Folks, y'all tag a friend. Send the link to via WhatsApp to a friend, to a colleague, to a neighbor. Same neighbor is peeping when coach come back for the furniture. Same neighbor. Tag a friend. Candace Ryan, I see you there. Leslie Lewis and Valerie Archibald, Andrea McDonald, Brenda Braffett. All of you folks. Guys, I'm ready. I'm ready with the hot topics this evening. Welcome in the ring. Whether you guys are joining us on Twitter, you're joining us on Facebook, you're joining us in the suburbs, on YouTube, you're joining us in Bel Air, Twitter, you're joining us in the ghetto. Good to see each and every one of you guys. Good to see each and every one of you. MP Fernandes is going to be dropping by, and my colleague Randolph Critchlow as well. He's going to be dropping by. These guys are going to help to give some context to some of these issues, guys. To give some context. Good to have each and every one of you. And as soon as we get to that magic number, we are going to be ready to go. Guys, I'm ready to go right now. Ready to go right now. So y'all make sure that y'all got your popcorn, your cokes, your coffee, whatever have you. We are ready to go, people. We are ready to go. Ain't no joke. We ain't making no joke. We ready. And again, we are so privileged to have all of you with us this evening. We count it a tremendous privilege to have each and every one of you in the ring with us tonight, guys. Hundreds of you already joining the live stream. Annette Gordon and Beverly Crandon, Tamara Isaacs, Brenda Braffett, Holly Carter, Richlyn Gordon, Joan Robinson, guys. So many of you joining us. Home here in Guyana, in the Caribbean, North America, in Europe, in Asia, so many of you guys, and we're so privileged, always privileged to have you guys here with us. And again, very, 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 very thankful that so many of you join us night after night after night. We do not take it lightly by any means. We do not take it lightly by any means. And again, guys, thank you so much for showing up. We're here as well, ready to go, ready to get into the hot topics, ready to let you know what happened over the weekend, to give some context, to expand on some of those events over the weekend, some of those events that happened during the course of the day. Folks, settle down. Some of you in front of your smart television, you got your remote. Why you put your foot up in the chair? Huh? Y'all got brought up, spent? Don't put your foot up in the chair. You shouldn't even be eating in the chair. What is your chair? Once you finish paying coach for it, the chair is yours, folks. Good to have each and every one of you. Roxy and Lex Mingo. Let's fight, people. Simone Ben Williams. Simone, you get spot, girl. Congratulations. Ben Williams, Freddie Jackson, and Vibert White. Oren Baker, watching from the East Bank of Demerara. Good to see you, Vibert White. Oren Baker again, Veronica King, and Raul Brando Ramatar. Raul, I hope you behave yourself. If somebody knows Schumann, tag Schumann. I see Brando asking me if Schumann will come in the ring. All are welcome in the ring. If Schumann wants to come in the ring, Schumann can come in the ring. Right? If Cindy Fraser, Lynetta Cindy Fraser, if you want to come in the ring, Joan Jeffrey, y'all can come in the ring. Here's a Prince George and GT Rude Girl. I wonder what this GT Rude Girl look like. Latoya Morris, all the other folks there, Anthony Stepping Stone, all are welcome in the ring, folks. All are welcome in the ring, and we are going to get into our hot topics. I am just making sure we have our notes set and ready to go. Good to see each and every one of you guys. I'm ready to get going, and I hope you guys share the live stream. Let me make sure I get some room between myself and this this thing, so my shoulders are too much on it. It matters to us. It matters to us. Good to have each and every one of you. And guys, as you know, the dominant team here is team installation. Everybody who get installed, team installation, team installation. And we keep saying all the time, since these guys took office August 2nd, 2020, it has been dark clouds. You got no silver lining here, it's just dark clouds right through. Dark clouds right through. Team installation, folks. They were at it again over the weekend. They were at it again during the course of the day. Team installation, guys, share the live stream. And look, I know some of you hard of hearing. I know some of you hard of hearing. So we now have a pictorial. We now have a pictorial for those persons who are hard of hearing. Share the live stream. So whether you want to like, share, you're gonna like on Facebook or use whatever emoji you want to use, but share the live stream. If you're on Twitter, you gotta retweet. If you're on YouTube, you gotta subscribe. Guys, you make this show what it is, and we always say that you have a role to play and we have a role to play as well. We try to bring the credible and valid information for you, and you guys help us to disseminate it and to spread it. That is one of the roles that you play. Very soon you might gotta subscribe because this thing is free. So we're tremendously privileged to have each and every one of you who are with us. Like, some of you are hard hearing, like, like down there, like, share, retweet, subscribe. Good to have each and every one of you guys here with us this evening. Team installation, folks. Team installation. And again, you can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram. Just search for my name, Sherry Duncan. You can follow me on YouTube. Subscribe on our YouTube channel. Tremendous privilege to have each and every one of you with us this evening. Confusion powder, people. Confusion powder. Confusion powder. Every day under this fraudulent administration can be characterized under this team is confusion powder. Somebody left some in office, the president, they left some at them ministry. I don't know. But these guys can't seem to get a break. So over the weekend, I'm certain some of you would have joined us over the weekend for that blackout live broadcast that we had. Complete shutdown. A complete shutdown in the power sector over the weekend in the Cooperative Oil Producing Republic of Guyana. Right? Thanks to these jagabats, thanks to these crosses, complete shutdown. Now, I saw a justification that saying they had to do a complete shutdown of the system to avoid some risk of fire or something of that nature. The thing didn't even make sense. It didn't even make sense. And that is part of the challenge we got with these jagabats here of recent. You know, the PPP of old used to dazzle you with bullshit. Not these guys. Not these guys. Not these guys. Excuse me there. They're not even trying. The old PPP used to try to dazzle you with bullshit. You know, if they can't baffle with brilliance, you dazzle with BS. Now they want to tell you a rat eat out the cable. Somebody thief piece of the cable. But now they said they're trying to avoid some risk, so they have to shut down the whole country. Ladies and gentlemen, the oil producing Republic of Guyana was in total blackout for hours over the weekend. And even after that dramatic system failure, you had pockets of blackout over the weekend as well. That is what you get. That is what you get when you have an installed regime. The nature and quality of the installed PPP. So I was trying to bring you guys the live stream in total darkness. Next thing I know, something hit me. I says a bandit in the house. I started to wrestle with the force, right? But really and truly, it's a door out of nowhere hit me. A door out of nowhere. The door just walked into me. Right? Guys, it's not easy. It is not easy. The folks promise less blackouts, but it's more. And of course, that total shutdown of the system over the weekend with a very flimsy excuse. Signs of the times, guys. Signs of the times. Signs of the times. As I said to you when we started, every day in this country, the darkness that the people brought with them prevails. Norma Semple of Block 22, Wisma Linden, perished in a fire today. The origins are still unknown, and as we get more information on that fire, we are going to get the details for you guys. But our thoughts and prayers go out to Norma Semple's family and friends. She was 82 years old and very, very tragically lost her life in that fire at Block 22, Wisma Linden, during the course of today. Friday, I was telling you about coming soon. A pervasive theme that characterizes the PPC administration. Not a day goes by when you don't have a whole list of things coming soon. And today, hearing that list was the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. They had to say something. So it was coming soon. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine that has been promised weeks ago. It's still coming. Coming soon, ladies and gentlemen. And with that pocketory, you all know what characterizes the People's Progressive Party civic? Corruption, contract corruption, wheeling and dealing, influence peddling, you name it, corruption. And so over the weekend, we saw a road, an access road, just give up. This road was recently completed. Haruani Access Road, recently completed, folks. And the road just gave up. Can you imagine that? Now, Ejil, who is at the Ministry of Public Works, has been firing contractors, competent contractors, that were brought on under the Afternoon AFC tenure. Why? Because the witch hunting and the wicked stink and dirty. That is why. And so they have been bringing on their own friends, family, their own cabal. And this is what you get. This is the quality of the work you get from the install regime, from the crosses, from the trenches. This is what you get. And I'm certain Mackenzie Talbot is going to agree with me. I know Aubrey Stevens. I know some of you stifling your conscience, some of the trenches on the chat. Stifling their conscience, but this is what you get, an access road recently completed. And look the condition. Somebody tag Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Let them see what transpires in this country for construction. I don't know which school these people graduate from. Probably it's IFLOT University these engineers graduate from. The entire road, as you can see there, has given way. And this is what characterizes the heart and core of the PPP, decadence and decay. Decadence and decay characterizes it. And this is only one such road, because we have been showing you on this program other roads that are deteriorating currently. So I don't know who friend, who crony, who Nakavakamite, who Hippocyte got the contract to do this road. That is what the people of this country would like to know. And so we're going to continue to follow this information. And as we get more details, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to keep you in the know. So Harouani Road has given up, given, broke way, broke loose, and gone. Well, the diaspora ain't having it. The diaspora is not having it. You all remember coming soon? Well, they promised they were going to engage the diaspora. They promised they were going to engage the diaspora. That's what they said. They had a little conference and they promised some further engagement. Well, no. They're not interested in that. And what transpired since that time in May tells us that they are not interested, right, in those kinds of events and activities, engaging the diaspora for development, strategic development of our country. No, they're not interested in that. And so when the investment seminar that they promised was canceled recently, this gentleman, Mr. Ford, he wasn't having it. He wasn't having it at all. Yep. And Mr. Wayne Ford represents the United Guyanese Diaspora Global Network. The United Guyanese Diaspora Global Network, Mr. Wayne Ford. And he wrote to the installed Irfan Ali, telling him in no uncertain terms that they didn't even have the courtesy of an explanation why they were canceling this investment forum, this investment seminar or webinar. The folks were already involved in hours, if not weeks, of planning, gathering integral members of the diaspora. And then without any excuse or any explanation, they cancel it. And so Wayne Ford wrote a very, very strong letter to Irfan Ali, talking about the unprofessionalism of the government. The unprofessionalism of the government. My apologies. Again, for canceling, in what he said, this investment webinar without the courtesy of an explanation. You see, they think it's people from some kind of wishy-washy place to dealing with. When you're dealing with the diaspora and professional people at home or abroad, you have to have a certain kind of standard. And the PPP think everybody cas like them. That is what they think, that everybody cas like them. Folks, as we turn our attention to the crosses, I invite you guys who are now joining us at home here in Guyana or in the diaspora to share the live stream for us. As we turn our attention to some other crosses, we invite you to share the live stream, wherever you're joining us from. Freddie, Jackson, and Denise Booker, Denise McKenzie, all the Denise on the chat this evening. Laverne Duncan, family, Oswin Tappin, David Wood, and all of you, wherever you are joining us from, whichever part of the world, as we turn our attention to the crosses. My apology. We invite you guys to like, use whatever emoji you want to use, share, retweet, subscribe, whatever emoji you want to do, but share the live stream so that other persons can benefit from the program. That is what we require as the cost image. I know, like, they send some confusion powder here tonight, but they ain't get through. So y'all know this cross. Should the woman in Shutdown told her family initially that she had stabbed herself. Oh, Jesus, some men is put you to shame. Some men is put you to shame. So he told the family she stabbed herself. God of mercy. She stabbed herself. The police jump in, didn't even want the family to visit the young woman at the hospital. Hurry, 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 and elicited a statement from her. And then concluded that it was an accidental shooting. Now, persons have been asking, why wasn't this firearm holstered? Why was it pointed towards somebody? Because he said it was an accidental shooting, according to the police. Now, the matter has been referred to the DPP, the Director of Public Prosecutions, for legal advice. And we learned today that this Jagabat Karl Singh has been sent on leave. And as you guys know, as you share, as you like, as you retweet, as you subscribe, as you guys know, we have been also asking, why is it that some other folks have not been charged as yet, along with this fella here, along with Karl Singh? Why hasn't Karl Singh been charged? Terachan Balgobin from the finance hit down the young teacher, hit down and killed that young teacher, hasn't been charged. We haven't heard anything about that. Zamal Hussein, the vice chairman of Region 6, hit down another commuter and killed them. He hasn't been charged. And then we got Alicia Dalrymple, who the nation and the world saw bit a policeman. Bit a policeman. Now, since that time, I have been trying to locate this man. He cannot be found. The man has disappeared. I hope that bite hasn't resulted in a fatality. I hope this is not a Van Helsing we have on our hands here. The man has disappeared. But Alicia Dalrymple to date has not been found guilty or charged. Not even charged. And the world saw a policeman assaulted in that very brutal way, bitten. Not a word from any member of the PPP hierarchy. Not a word. And we're into this weeks now. You see, the countries don't like credible information, you know. Right? Buddha, Gorka, and all the other fake profiles that they come with, they don't like credible information. So when will these folks be charged? That is the question. COVID-19, folks. The installed PPP administration has messed up everything in this country, including COVID-19. Including COVID-19. You know, I think about that statement that Schumann made. And I'm coming to Schumann. And I say, it's the wrong set of people getting COVID-19 in this country. It's the wrong set. You got some waste. It's the wrong set. So today we learned. Yesterday there were 4 COVID deaths. Today there were 3, which has pushed up that number to 530 persons. Folks, and I should remind you, when these Jagabats came into office on August 2nd, 2020, right? When these Jagabats came into office, you had 21 COVID deaths. They said, Duncan, I'm good at maths. We ain't good at maths. So y'all do the maths. 21 from 530 is how many deaths the PPP responsible for. We are close to 22,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19. We're close to 22,000. And when these Jagabats came into office, you had 474. So they have wrecked the management of COVID. They have wrecked it. Last evening, you had 427 cases, as I told you. And the APNU AFC, we planned a vigil when the number hit 500. And in that planning, 30 people lost their lives. And in every region last night, the coalition members of parliament and supporters turned out to reflect on the lives of those 527 persons as of last night, but 530 this evening, who lost their lives to COVID. And I tell you this, some of those deaths were avoidable. Some of those deaths were avoidable. Right? Well, they think apparently that the 530 is too low. They think the 530 is too low. Enter Charles Ramson and the government of Guyana. Enter Charles Ramson and the government of Guyana. This Jagabat, this Crass. Enter Charles Ramson and the government of Guyana. Now they are having some T20 cricket matches, of which they are allowing 6,000 persons to go to the stadium, of which they are allowing 6,000 people to go to the stadium to watch this cricket match, because 530 deaths, too little bit. Well, a column in the Critchlow News wasn't having it with them today. Sports fall on the Charles Ramson, so he is chief crass on this matter. Right? The columnist wasn't having it. And he called the government crazy. He said the government got to be crazy. He said the government is reckless. Deaths are going up. Confirmed cases are going up. You cannot even get on time vaccines. Johnson & Johnson coming soon. After a long wait, I saw them got some Sputnik V just this morning, just today. The columnist said but it is reckless and incomprehensible that they would make such a move to fit 16,000 people, 6,000 persons in a venue. Folks, if me and you go and stand up by coffee, they're selling about 50, 100 police. And say we're breaking the law because we're not supposed to meet in groups larger than 10. And they're going to break their own COVID protocols and sit 6,000 persons, right, to watch cricket, to watch T20 cricket. Persons have pointed to Tokyo in Japan, where the Olympics happening, and almost empty stadiums because people are concerned about the spread of COVID-19. Frank Anthony says we have to operate as though we have the variants here, the Alpha and the Delta variant. And there has been no change in the stance of the government on COVID-19. As a matter of fact, if anything, they have gotten worse, because they are going to sit 6,000 persons. But I not only vex with them, it's the people who go and buy the tickets and put themselves in harm's way. All of the medical authorities recognize, me talking about Ramsamy and them little quactors, recognized, have said even if you've gotten both of your vaccines, you should be operating the very same way, wearing your mask, social distancing, and all of that. And all of that. So these guys are going to sit 6,000 people. And then they can come and say, oh, because we care. because we care. And I want to turn our attention to another cross. Another cross. A soup drinker. He's a soup drinker and he's singing for his supper. A soup drinker. The man started good. And when he could no longer dazzle with brilliance, he now baffling with his bullshit. He is now dazzling with bullshit. No longer baffling with brilliance. You know the man, I know the man. We all know the man. Shu-das. Shu-das. Not Schumann, Shu-das. And I take this opportunity again to welcome those who are now joining us and invite you guys to like whichever emoji, take your pick, to share, to retweet, to subscribe, to send some remittance, whatever you want to do. Like, share, retweet, subscribe. Share the live stream for us. Folks, but you know, on this one here, you got to get out your popcorn and your Cokes. So Schumann, Shu-das. I see one of my guests who are going to be joining me, showing me that he's drinking his Cokes. Leonard Schumann. Today, this man is drifting, people. He is drifting. Every day you hear Schumann say something. Schumann on high grade, you know. We haven't passed the legislation yet to increase the legal quantity of marijuana you can use, you can consume. But he on some high grade. He high grade, plenty. So Schumann came up with the bright idea, representing the Liberty Justice Party, also representing Anuk, because he is their member of parliament through whatever this joiner system that they have operating. He's their representative in the National Assembly. He come up with a bright idea. There should be no cash grant or land given to unvaccinated parents and individuals. Folks, eat your Coke and sip your popcorn. We upside down in this country. Schumann come up with a bright idea. Lennox Schumann, who said he loved Guyana. Same man who lied about the Canadian citizenship that he had given it up. Who didn't give it up? Schumann says no cash grant or land should be given to unvaccinated parents and individuals. This is the same Schumann who is the advisor to the Civil Aviation Authority, earning over $800,000 cash plus perks. Don't want you to get land and don't want you to get cash grant until you vaccinated. Mind you, the government has stated they have no mandatory vaccination policy. And with that, I want to welcome Ms. Juretha Fernandes, and I want to welcome MP Fernandes and also Councillor Randolph Critchlow, who is also the host of the Rush, and also a political commentator, and all among the many hats that he wears. Welcome, Randy, and welcome, Juretha. Let me move this bottle of Cokes from here. Juretha, I'd love if I had a little closer. We have equal rights here. Randy, what the hell happened in here? Make sense of it for us, Randy. I need your audio. I'm not getting your audio. Juretha, jump in there.
Sherry, you want me to begin?
From the top, because it's you really and truly ripped this fool apart over the weekend when he was talking all of the nonsense about he don't represent all indigenous people and he don't have to speak out on everything that concerns indigenous people. Like, this man is going mad.
You know, Sherry, from the inception, I spoke about the whole issue with Schumann because I noted when there was a particular program or activity in which the whole aspect of race was being discussed. And it was very surprising to me that Schumann was one of the persons that was coming in to say that persons were campaigning on platforms of race, because that is his entire platform altogether. That's what he did. And I made it. And so when I saw the last statement from him saying that not because he is indigenous, he should be expected to comment on it, every thing that involves indigenous people. Basically, I found it as the highest level of hypocrisy that we can find, because there you have someone that just contested the regions where, like I said before, indigenous people reside, and then he comes forward on that, from that platform, now to make these ludicrous statements all together. And I think that something is going wrong with him completely, because after all that we discussed over the weekend and so forth, then there is Mrs. Schumann today once more making another outrageous statement altogether. Mind you, again, I reminded the public today that the communities that this man represents, the communities that he campaigned in and that he promised people to be their voice, he said that he was a voice for indigenous people in Guyana because he claimed that they were lacking representation and all of that. Yet the very same man goes out to the public today and speak about persons should not be given the cash grant from the Because We Care program, and also house lots. How dare you say something like that when reports are coming in that these are the communities that we have low vaccination rates in? You're not even taking into consideration the people that place you in the seat that you're in. I know, Sharon, I think it's time we call out the joiner party with Schumann, because he's a part of parliament, and the seat
Yeah,
that he sits in is just
yeah.
not his own.
I
And
think
they
this
need to
is
be making statement
this is
whether or
the
not they agree with the nonsense he's saying.
this is Anog and I think TNM
Correct.
and his party LBJ that
L
formed this
LJP.
LJP, same thing, that formed this join a party madness.
Yes, because he's making a lot of statements, and they need to come out and say whether or not they endorse these things, because this particular statement is complete madness. You just don't go out haphazardly and say something like that. Mind you, you're talking about a policy decision altogether. That's his recommendation. That policy should be that if you're not fully vaccinated, you shouldn't be given house loss, and you should not be given any of the money from the cash grant that is going on right about now. He is saying that after the fact that the implementation of the distribution house, it's ongoing right now. The cash grant is being shared right now. So what exactly is he trying to say? You're gonna go back to the persons that you already give it to and collect it back? Or he is so used to the PPP's haphazard implementation process and policy delivery altogether that he believes he could just change the game as you go along. Or you can do it in region two one way. In region two, you can go and start it there and you give it nice and good to everybody, regardless of these circumstances that she's creating right now. And then when you come to the other regions, you're gonna create these new policies, these new stipulations for persons to get it. Cheryl, let's not try to make sense of what Mrs. Schumann said. It was complete nonsense.
Different strokes for different folks. Randy,
Good evening, and good night to all the ringsiders. You can hear me right now, Sharon.
Hearing you.
loud and clear.
Great. You know, I listened to Juretha, and she made a lot of sense, and I want to echo some of those same sentiments as we try to make sense out of this nonsense that Schumann spoke. But you know, I often listen to Bernard, and he likes to you have to take it in context. You have to understand where it is coming from.
It's
You know, he
no
starts like
context,
that.
Randy.
Yes, in context. You have to take it, you have to understand who is saying this nonsense. Here you have a man, right, who very soon might not be in parliament because he joined the party, got some fancy arrangement where they interchanging people, right? He is employed by the government. He's getting a nice $500,000 or whatever as advisor to the president. Juretha rightly pointed out that being indigenous, he ran on this ticket of race. That is what he ran on, right? He said he is indigenous, he is representing the indigenous people. That's his whole thing. That's why he showed up in parliament or in court half naked in his indigenous wear, because he wanted to make a statement. This same man who purports to represent the indigenous people to the extent that he will show up in parliament half naked, that, well, not in a bad way, in his indigenous wear. This same man now has turned 360. He has said, look, not because I'm indigenous, I got to represent the indigenous people, but so who you representing, right? Because you're obviously not representing the combined opposition, right? You are representing the PPP's interest. Secondly, this man, as Juretha rightly pointed out again, and I applaud her for her post today, that the indigenous communities are amongst the lowest in terms of vaccinations. So he's essentially saying to the people that essentially put him there, y'all shouldn't collect any money, y'all shouldn't get house lots. That's essentially because, we only care about the vaccinated. That is what he is purporting. It is such a ludicrous thing. I don't even know. I mean, I was looking at some of the comments on Facebook, and these are the comments. So on the one contributor wrote, said after a bucket of paiwari. He probably, I don't know if he was high, as you said. He probably was pulling up the things. But it is quite strange. Who are you representing? Who is he representing? Because he's not representing the Amerindians. He's not raising his voice in indigenous issues. He's not representing the opposition. So what is he doing in prime? He's just representing his own financial interests, as far as I'm concerned.
Randy, you're not in parliament. You're not fortunate or unfortunate to have to sit and observe Shuman's behavior firsthand and up close as to how he operates in parliament. Shuman takes his position as far as he possibly can away from the opposition and tries to separate himself from any comment that is made from the PPP saying the opposition. He literally stands and says, kindly exclude him from that. And this is not once, he does it over and over. Mind you, this is somebody that could not muster enough votes to win a seat. And he has the gall to come to parliament and to behave as though he is better than other people, or he don't want to be associated with the people that won seats in the house. He wants to be
Shuman is a hypocrite, Juretha. He's a hypocrite. He's a hypocrite, and he has graduated from that. He's a hypocrite.
But let me just say this one thing, Sharon. I believe that the PPP has a responsibility now when they go to share out these grants to say to the Amerindian people, Shuman didn't want you to have this, because you weren't vaccinated. I wonder if they will say that.
PPP distance themselves from these things, as Shuman says, listen. If you were to pay attention to the news agencies that would carry Shuman's statement, you wouldn't see the PPP friendly news agencies taking that particular statement because they know how damaging that is to the image altogether that they try to project. Because the truth is that Shuman used the indigenous community, and the PPP in turn came around through him, used the indigenous community also.
Yeah.
MP Fernandes, let's pick up on that point. Randy, let's pick up on that point, because it was you, Randy, who asked the question, who is Shuman representing? They joined the party. MP Fernandes has got a responsibility of calling him out if he's not representing them. And we talk about him benefiting through the PPP. He works for them through the Civil Aviation Authority.
He is employed by PPP.
Right? And so the question is, there's a school of thought out there that says it is the PPP who is fronting Shuman to put out this issue as a feeler, to get to gauge the public's reaction. And then you see Madhead Ramsamy, who has been watching a little television in Europe, hearing Emmanuel Macron talking a couple of things about e-passport and so forth, and then wants to come and implement them here. And then you see this now creeping in as a policy. So don't discount what Shuman is saying, because he is fronting for the PPP.
Sharon, listen to me. it would be beyond crazy for Ramsamy to even try to push something like that, given the fact that
But Ramsamy is beyond crazy.
we're still waiting on the second dose for the Sputnik V, Sherrod. You cannot possibly think, well, the people can't be considering anything along that line. When, as Guyanese, like today, rightly so, I know an elderly man was waited 3 months now for his second dose of Sputnik V. He can't have it yet. Not no fault of his. He is seeking it, but it's not available to him. Those
Yeah,
are the facts out there with the
but I would
vaccine.
say I would think it is crazy with the increasing deaths and increasing confirmed cases that a government will be contemplating putting 6,000 people into an arena, but these guys doing it. So there's nothing that should surprise us now.
Yeah.
These guys are crazy.
And that too is interesting, Sherrod, because it is this same administration that have been turning people back because on the account that they do not qualify for the second dose. What criteria they're using, nobody knows. As I recounted on my show, a policeman stopped us and he said, "Look, can y'all help me get my second dose?" And so you have an administration that turning people back from second doses, and then you're going to allow 6,000 people to come in an arena. Now, you know what I wonder sometimes, Sherrod? Whether or not these people communicate with each other. Whether or not Ramson and Frank actually had a conversation, because the sport ministry is going to hold this big event, but Frank is on television saying, "Look, we need to do these things." You know what's interesting? Let the police hear a little party next around the corner.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
You know, people have accounted, Sherrod, that you call the police, tell them the robbery going on. They take their own time to reach. To call the police, somebody in your house, they reach here, they can't reach.
Yeah.
But let some music start playing.
Yeah. Randy, as we're on that, we have credible information that seems to suggest that the police force, members of the police force, has been told, you better go and get your vaccine or don't come to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Credible sources, right, are alleging that instructions have been issued by the hierarchy of the police.
Yeah.
Telling their ranks, go and get vaccinated or don't turn up for work tomorrow.
Sherrod, it's not surprising. It is not surprising. We've been recounting it. This is day 358. And we know what sort of government this installed regime is. We know their authoritarian nature. We know that we are living in an environment of fear. Constant fear. Talking to average people, they said that we are afraid. People are afraid. So people, they're taking advantage of that to tell people that they got to be vaccinated or you'll lose your work. This is not government places alone. Private places have been doing this and the government is doing nothing about it. So we have this situation where Frank is saying one thing. The other ministries are doing their own thing. Nobody knows what's happening. You know when you will know what is happening, Sherrod, when he decides after 2 months to come and hold a press conference and tell you what he has decided to do. No cabinet meeting.
Yeah.
Madness.
It's purgatory. It is purgatory. MP Fernandes.
It's a PPP for you. Nothing. It's a PPP. No, that's how you have to wrap it up all together. There's nothing that is surprising about the PPP. Look, Sherrod, we have PSC. Today we had PSC. PSC ended actually at 6 p.m. this evening, and I can tell you, we tried desperately to go down a line as a coalition. We tried to be structured in our approach and in our line of questioning and so forth. But we still have the members of the government side will come and try to put a political spin on every single thing. And sadly, there are news agencies out there that just follow through with that line and don't try to do any sort of balanced reporting and so on and so forth. And I actually want to mention that before you wrap up tonight, because I noticed an article coming out of I noticed an article coming out of newsroom this afternoon concerning a matter that was discussed in the PAC today with agriculture and a $400 million that was budgeted for the
Guys, so
mechanization of Gaisuko's persons. I saw persons, some persons would have shared it wrong. Mind you, shared the discussion altogether at the PAC highlighted that that was in the year 2016. Sherrod, in the year 2016, it was made very clear at the PSC today that $11 billion was given to Gaisuko in 2016. $11 billion. Those money were allocated for overhead, paying of staff, and so on and so forth. The $400 million now, they were trying to make it sound those money was put for this and it was used for something else. The money was never disbursed altogether. It wasn't used for anything. I was shocked to hell when Mr. Escher was trying to say that because this $400 million was not put towards the mechanization that thousands of workers were affected. And I'm sitting there, I'm thinking like, what is the train of thought that is going through these people's head? Because any first year student at a university, we can have some secondary school children come in and talk about these concepts. And once you hear mechanization in any production, any production company whatsoever, the more mechanized you get, the less labor intensive you are. Right? So even to suggest that, more workers would have been affected, yes, they would have been affected. More workers would have not had a job had that process go forward. Every step a company takes towards mechanization, those steps are equally downsizing in their labor-intensive costs. So, of course, the news
Juretha, the
agency went ahead.
the sad fact is that Agile and a lot of their colleagues have never submitted themselves to higher learning. That is the problem. So what you're doing there is deep thinking, and I don't want to skirt around the issue. They're dunces. They have not submitted to higher learning. You've gone on, you've done a master's. Randy has done a master's. I'm doing a master's. And these guys have not come out of primary school as yet for all intents and purposes. What is Kwame McCoy's educational level? What is one Edge's educational level? You understand why roads are disintegrating? You understand why?
Yeah, but it's very important for me that the fact that the news agency went out and the very much political statements that was made in that article altogether. And I'm like, this is nonsense. Like, it appears as though this article coming from Freedom House. You understand? Because that's how it appears to the general public when you're going to make certain statement in something that requires critical thinking and analysis in the reporting format. And you didn't see that coming forward. You're talking about Gaisuko altogether. The government in 2016 is giving Gaisuko $11 billion to cover overhead, make sure workers are paid and all of these things. And yet you are going to try to focus on it. Exactly. You're trying to spin and focus on the mechanization that was not done, something that would have further pushed workers out of job. And it was so crazy. And if you are to attend the PAC, you would see time after time, the PAP would try to try to feed responses, the coach responses from the accounting officers, asking them if their opinion is like this and that. And we have to keep coming in and say, number one, the accounting officers are not concerned with policy decisions altogether. You can't question an accounting officer on policy decision. And when you come to the PSC, you're not coming there to give your opinion. You're there to look at the facts. These are the facts before us, and these are the answers that we will give. So it's a challenge altogether there, but it's a long run.
Two things, Juretha. One, that I note that you mentioned that it was the Guyana Times newspaper, newsroom.
Yeah, it was news.
It was newsroom. Newsroom, same thing. Guyana Times newsroom.
Usual suspects.
Same garbage. I take whatever I read in those things with a pinch of salt. It's their detriment. People know that they don't bring you fair and balanced or credible or valid information. So you can't expect better. That newsroom has become the the government newspaper or the government news agency. But on the second note, it is big. It is really big for the PPP to be talking about monies that may or may not have been used properly in sugar. I would have been laughing. I would have been like, so tell us what happened to the millions of pounds that Jagdeo got from the EU. Where it went? Where did that waste go?
Yeah.
Well, Randy, the whole thing, the PSC is not for such discussions. The PSC, we basically, when we examine these ministries, we basically examine it as against what is reported in the Auditor General's report, what are the findings and so forth. So I try to move away from the speculations and all of those things, because we would get nowhere. It is crazy because all of the things that the PPP tries desperately to highlight and to make this whole big hullabaloo about right now in those reports, when you're to go back to the years before, there are lots of things that are prior years issue from 2013, 2014, even in the 2016 report, we're still looking at overpayments, money to be recovered that was disbursed in 2013, 2014, and these things. People zip silent on these matters. Mind you, the news report doesn't bring out those things either. So
that is the aim.
Again,
that is the aim of the PPP, to distract from their record. They are coming up on a year anniversary. They have nothing to show for it. And so what do? You look back and see what your competitor did. Right? And you try
I'm yet to see, Sharon, I'm going to say it now, right? Because I'm yet to see one report coming out of the newsroom in particular from the 2016 report we're scrutinizing right now about any matter has been recurring and things that have not been settled prior to 2015, because we have a lot of those with absolutely no money being recovered from overpayments and all of those things. But we have these news agencies not reporting any, and I say that I promise you that I'm going to be highlighting the reporting that comes out from PAC moving forward, because we have to call out the news agencies. They are responsible. They are responsible for the information that they feed to the public, and we need to make sure that information is balanced and credible. I mean, everybody, as in Guyana, you can just pick up a newspaper. You could go to a specific news media online, and you know directly where they're associated and so forth. But everyone needs to call out news agencies so that we can have some kind of balanced reporting. I know Mr. Ramjitan says this all the time. A very, very important aspect of a true democracy is to have free media. And unless I see that, I'm going to keep calling it out. So I just encourage the reporters, because reporting is very important. I love the fact that we have persons showing up there. But when you show up, you have to come out with balanced reports. That's what's important. No point showing up for a meeting if you're not going to come out with a balanced report. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't do anything for your credibility at all moving forward as an individual and as a news agency.
And Randy, you know, and Juretha, the challenge will be in an oil producing republic for our reporting to up its game. You got to move past just what the individuals are saying. The reporters will have to sit down with those volumes and try to make sense of it. And these agencies and these entities, these news entities, might have to hire some specialist reporters, some young people coming out of UG and elsewhere with who are qualified in economics and these various areas of governance, to be able to give context to what is being discussed. Because unless you are not connecting the dots, if you're going to wait for the PPP to connect the dots for you, you're going to end up in a ditch.
Yeah.
You're going to end up in a ditch. And so the reporters have to up their game. They got to sit down with these volumes. They got to ask critical questions. They got to come to the PAC prepared, not to be spoon-fed information to go with sensational headlines, but to pursue the truth wherever it leads.
Yeah, they too are singing for their suppers here. They too are so connected with the cabal that it's in their interest to report glowing things about this government. And you're going to see August the 2nd is quickly approaching. You're going to see Newsroom and Times and all of them wall-to-wall coverage on the supposed achievement. And Sharon, let me just say this. I know that you had your coming soon segment, and I hope that we continue that, because I saw today that the Ministry of Housing put out that they give out 6,000 house lots since the year. You want to see these things. But just under that, they had low-income homes to be built coming soon.
Yeah.
And
Correct.
that's
Correct.
what they do.
Correct. Randy, and on that very note, we missed it in some of the discussion this evening, but I saw for Region 10, for instance, they say 80 jobs coming to Region 10, coming soon, 80 jobs. How many persons have they fired from Region 10? How many persons have they fired from Linden? But they're coming now like heroes. Oh, we're bringing 80 jobs. 80
Well,
jobs.
I didn't see that report shared because I would have looked into it a little bit. Because anything I can tell you, this anything that is reported about job creation, I'm going to be weighing it pound for pound with the report from the Bureau of Statistics, the labor report, as to see what actual impact it will be making as against the job loss that we have faced since the PVP is in office.
I
Some of
wonder
these
if
journalists need to listen to you some more. Some of these journalists.
I wonder if the Minister of Labor, the fraudulent Minister of Labor, will go up to cut ribbons to these 80 jobs, like the Minister of Public Works went up to cut ribbons for 80 meters of road. It is so hilarious. It's so desperate to make people believe that they're doing something in Linden. 80 meters of road, big ceremony, balloons dropping from the sky, doves releasing.
Yeah. And then you fire 800, you hire 80, and you say,
Exactly.
well done. You pat yourself on the back. Final thoughts, guys, as we wrap up. Juretha.
Well, Sharon, we have to continue doing what we're doing. What you do here every night, I have to say this in closing. What you do here every night is extremely important to actually bring credible news to the people and put things into perspective altogether. We have so much sensational news about the place. It is ridiculous. And the fact that I watch your viewership and every single night it keeps going up. Persons are recognizing that you bring credible news and people join because they know that when they come to your page and they listen to your reporting, that it's going to be value for their time. So with that, I know that there was a lot to be covered tonight since the 20 minutes, I guess, or 25 minutes we've been on, Randy.
Yeah.
The issue with Schumann is something that I'm not going to drop. Every single time he speaks crap, I'm going to call it out, because we cannot allow persons to go forward and make a mockery out of an entire group of people in this country. That is completely unacceptable. I would not allow it. Like I said, moving forward, every single PAC meeting, I'll give a brief update and I'll be looking at the reporting that comes out of it to see when we're going to get to a point of credible reporting from those agencies and from the reporters that are there. I still have confidence in them. I know that they're very fearful of this administration, and everybody believes that they just have to be in tune with what the PPP wants in order for them to remain in a job, or in order for them to be able to feed their families, basically. But at some point, I want to say to the reporters that your credibility is most important in that line of work, and you just have to have a fighting spirit in this country to live under the PPP. You have to be able to fight them every step of the way. So let's continue to fight.
That's right.
I would add, Cher, that I know that we wouldn't be fighting after 2025. But let me say this, Juretha. You said that Schumann is making a mockery of the community. I believe that Schumann is a mockery.
Making a fool of himself.
He is a mockery, right? And I've come to expect these foolishness from him. But it's sad, and the indigenous people of this country need to understand that he does not represent them. He doesn't represent the opposition. The PPP distance themselves from him. He is basically trying to hold on to his job, and that's the last I'll say on that. But on the general issue, though, we have to continue to fight. We have to, as Juretha said, you have to have that fighting spirit. Continue to speak the truth. And Juretha, you might need your own show updates from the PAC. You might need your own show soon. But yes,
I think in the ring is fine. I'm happy. Randy, I'll tell you this. I think everybody have their unique skills and abilities, and I believe when it comes to hosting an entire program, and so nobody can do what Shutdown does. I'm good right here. Give me update. updates right here.
Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. We'll have you on the
Kind
programs.
word.
We'll have you on the programs when you have updates, definitely. But Sharon, you know, in conclusion, we have to continue to fight them and call them out at every single turn. We can't let them go at night, go down, put their head down in the bed, and sleep feeling that they did some good thing when the sheer foolishness they're doing. And on that note, you know, I'm encouraging persons to join us out at the Coffee Square on Wednesday. Continue to fight. Continue
12
to
to
fight.
1. Wednesday, 12 to 1, 1 hour. We make our voices heard that this government here is full of nonsense.
Yeah.
Full of shit. That being said, folks, have a great evening.
All right, thank you.
Guys, and there we have it. Our colleague Randolph Critchlow and Juretha Fernandes giving context to so many of the issues, in particular this whole Schumann story. But Politics 101 dictates that when your enemy defeating him or herself, just move out of the way. So Schumann, you just keep talking. Schumann, keep talking. Schumann, keep talking. Those of you who are still with us, I hope that you guys have taken the opportunity to share the live stream. Shalina Williams and Renee McCalman, Mackenzie Talbot and Precious Mineral, Colette Kroll, Carla Forbes, all of you other guys, Wesley Ward and Marsha Glasgow, Gloria Pod, share the live stream. Guys, I see hundreds of you, literally hundreds of you still on the live stream. I want 150 of you who have not shared the live stream as yet to do so. We want as many persons as possible to receive this information. So I see over 1,500 of you still watching us, and I'm grateful. I'm humbled by that. But we are only as good as far as the message reaches. And so we ask you, 150 of you, 200 of you, to share the live stream. And I know that is not difficult, unless they are hiding from the PPP. Unless they said the PPP people watching me and they want the party see the watching Duncan. So for those of you who are brave and bold enough, share the live stream for us. Share, like, retweet, subscribe. Touch our hearts. Bless us this evening by sharing the live stream. Guys, as you go, we encourage you to wear your mask, to sanitize, to social distance. Don't be like the PPP. Dinky. And then they want you to get vaccinated, or you won't get piece of land, or you won't get little education cash grant. That's the country we're living in now. Huh? It might as well come up with a final solution, because just now they can be marching us in some containment camps. What Schumann is suggesting sounds like a final solution to me. So those of you who are in the overtime with us, we encourage you to share the live stream, to retweet if you're joining us on Twitter, to subscribe if you're joining us on YouTube at Shared Duncan on YouTube. If you're joining me on Twitter at Shared Avery Duncan, if you're on whichever Facebook page, those folks who are joining us on Christopher Jones' Facebook page, share the live stream there for us. Those of you who are joining us on APNU AFC, our core supporters, share the live stream as well. We want this message to go as far as possible, guys. Do that for us. While the price of admission is still free, share the live stream, guys. It's our privilege to curate this information for you each and every day and to spend this time with you each and every night. We don't take this time with you lightly. We want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. Share the live stream for us this evening as we go. Do stay safe, guys. Do stay safe. Stay safe.